What's up, everybody? Welcome to Tuck Rule Takes, episode 239. Episode 239, the Harold Landry, Lawrence Maroney episode of Tuck Rule Takes. You like that shit, dude?
I did.
I knew we'd like the Lawrence Maroney shout out. Episode 239, gang, is all here recording on an afternoon, which doesn't mean anything to you listening to this because you could listen whenever you want. But it is currently 1:35 on Friday afternoon. The Tuck Rule Take boys playing a little hooky from
Get
work.
it done early.
Look at that. Look at that.
Listen. I'm not in work for another couple weeks, so this is just regular
Right,
time
I
for me
forgot.
right
Al
now.
has the easiest job in the world.
Oh,
Mike,
don't
imagine
you,
if we got
don't you
summers
go
off.
there.
Oh, that'd be so
It'd be nice. It'd be nice.
You
Imagine.
show up at 8, you get out at 3.
Hey,
Yes.
Liam, I got a question for you real quick. Are you getting paid
Yeah.
this week?
I am.
Okay, I don't get paid for 2 months, so shut up.
Yeah, well, you can get a side hustle.
You
The
give-
world
you
needs
give it-
hookers and McDonald's workers.
Anyways, Mike, continue the intro.
Gang's all here. You heard him. I'm Mike. Al's here. Liam's here. We're not going to do intros. If you're 239 episodes in with us, you know who's here. You know what we're here to talk about. Patriots preseason is back. Football is back. I know technically it's fake football, but it felt real. It felt real nice. One thing
It
I
did.
love that most teams do it now, but I love that Vrabel did it. You still suited up. You still got to see Drake May, AJ Brown, Elijah Barrett Tucker, Will Campbell. You still got to see everybody suited up. There was one person we didn't see who we'll talk about him as well, but the majority of people, you saw them suited up. We're going to talk about the Patriots preseason game, a couple signings beforehand too I want to touch on. And then, just a nice quick afternoon episode for the weekend or whenever you're listening to this. But first and foremost, Hunter Henry. I figured we just kind of get him out of the way. Signed an extension earlier this year. Press the applaud button. Woo! There it is. Signed a 2-year extension, base value of 16 million. Could be worth up to 20 million with incentives. I think it was something 14.5 million guaranteed. Yeah, that's what it is. Props to him. Props to Hunter Henry. I think if you've been listening to Tuck Rule Takes, you know we are a pro Hunter Henry podcast. He's one of the top tight ends, which isn't a high bar to clear because the position is kind of a little subpar recently. But Hunter Henry here, 2 more years. He will most likely, hopefully, retire a Patriot now. So I want to throw it to you guys. How do you feel? Do you like the money? Do you like the deal? Is just everything peachy for you? Because for me, I'm good. 16 thumbs up. How do you guys feel about it?
Yes, 100%. And put it this way, for anybody that doesn't know, when was the last time you remember a Patriot being signed 3 times throughout their tenure? When's the last time that's
I was
happened?
trying to think of who the last time that was.
Right, because you can't think of any examples because he had the initial deal in that spending spree in 21 where they brought in Jonnu Smith and Matt Judon and all those guys. Nelson Aguilar, I'll throw Liam a bone there. And then 2024, he gets an extension. And then 2026 again, he gets another extension. Credit to Hunter Henry. And you know what? Credit to Hunter Henry in the sense of he's been on the field. He's been available. He's been productive. And the fact that you have a little bit of a contingency plan so that way Eli Raridon can kind of slowly develop and slowly integrate his way into the offense, it's great. I'm happy. Hunter Henry, probably the second best Patriots tight end of my lifetime that I have seen.
Would say.
So,
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd second everything. Liam, how do you feel? You're a big Hunter Henry guy as well, obviously.
Pretty much the same. Psyched to have him, fired up that he wants to be a part of this. And looking back on it retrospectively, it's really nice that he decided to stay the course in New England, where he got here. We just blew wind for the first however many years he was here, and he hung the course and hung the course. And now we go to the Super Bowl, and he's like, "Yep, it's all paying off for me, doubling down. I'm going to be a Patriot forever." Because he wasn't winning shit with the Chargers, and he comes here, he's still not winning shit. It's I would have paid him more, whatever he wants. I would give him however many years. I'm fired up to have him.
yeah, it's kind of like the sandwich, right? For him, it's like 21 he came in and made the playoffs. It's like, okay, looks like this thing's building. Then 22 to 24 it starts to deteriorate. kind of crumbles a little bit, and then it kind of finishes it off in the sense of, hey, the Patriots are relevant again. They made the Super Bowl last year, and it looks like they're going to be at least in the mix for years to come. So I'm happy for Hunter Henry. Like you said, Liam,
Definitely.
he stuck the course, so he deserves this 100%.
And that second 4-win season, you got to think it must have got really bleak for him, where he's like,
I know
You could tell. You could see it on his face in like the post game things.
he's been through, how many quarterbacks has he been through? He's been through Mac Jones, been through Bailey Zappi, he's been through Jacoby Brissett, and now he's on Drake May. So yeah, his fourth quarterback. It's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so he, which is funny, and this is just a Hunter Henry question I wanted to ask you guys. He was drafted in 2017, 3 years with the Chargers. He was with them till 2020. From 2021, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 years going into his 6th year. Sorry, quick math. He's been great too. He had 603 yards, just over 500. 2023 was a down year, but he had 674 and then 768 yards with 7 touchdowns last season. I don't expect him to replicate that just because I think that there's more weapons around. I think he'll have a great year. I wanted to ask you guys, similar to Kevin Garnett, Minnesota Timberwolves. I know we're crossing streams. We're going to basketball. But I think we can probably agree. The vast majority of people probably think of Kevin Garnett as a Celtic, right? No one thinks of him as a net.
No.
Do you think Hunter Henry, I honestly not forgot because I know he came from there, but if I were just a regular fan, I would have forgot he spent the first 3 years of his career in LA. Do you think Hunter Henry is going to be remembered as a Patriot once he finally does retire in a couple of years?
Yes, because
no doubt.
He brought resurgence to a position that was needed for a couple of years there. I mean, you guys remember the Devin Asiasi and Ryan Izzo draft, right? Of 2020.
I try not to.
Like, exactly. So there was a 2-3 year gap where it's like, okay, there's
Dalton
no
Keene.
answer. Dalton Keene, yep, another one. So there was no answer at tight end, and Hunter Henry has been that steady piece. And think about it, he was Mac Jones's red zone threat. He was Jacoby Brissett's red zone threat, Bailey Zappi, and now he's Drake May's security blanket and red zone threat as well. He's Mr. Steady Eddie. Like, that's just who he is. And so, yeah, he's going to be a Patriot. Like, plus he's been there longer and he's been to a Super Bowl. Like, he had a couple good years with the Chargers to start, but New England's where he's kind of like built his reputation. Mm-hmm. So I think he's a Patriot.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even realize he was only there for 3 years. But yeah, Liam, I'm assuming you feel the same way, or
yeah, it's not close, and I think it's fun. It's always interesting how football works like that because he was drafted to the Chargers and he backed up Antonio Gates his first year, and Gates ended up he was withered and hurt, and so he ended up getting more playing time than Gates, even though he was technically the backup on the depth chart. And it was like, okay, like he's gonna follow up the next, or he's gonna be the next great tight end, following up a Hall of Fame tight end here in San Diego, then LA. And it just, whatever reason, they didn't want to do it. But I remember him being one of the best young tight ends in the league. Like, he was awesome. He was on one of my fantasy teams his second year, and he was awesome. But then he goes to the Patriots, and once again, he's following in the footsteps of another great Hall of Fame tight end, where it's like, oh man, like, who's going to fill this role? Everyone forgets the Devin Asiasi, Dalton Keene years. No one remembers those. As far as everyone else is concerned, Gronk went to the Bucs, and we got Hunter Henry like 2 days later. So, and that's the way I want to remember it too.
Yep.
But it's just funny how it works. Where I don't know any Chargers fans, but I'd love to hear, like, were they disappointed to see him leave? Because he ended up following up and being really great, following a Hall of Fame tight end, just not where he was drafted.
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, when that trade did happen, I feel like I remember seeing Chargers fans a little upset that he left. I mean, there's really no reason not to like him.
I mean,
he was awesome his first 2 years.
Yeah,
he went for the money. I mean, who can blame him?
Yeah, and it worked. So yeah, Hunter Henry, he will most likely retire here. And then, like we said, hopefully he brings along Eli Raridan, who we'll talk about when we talk about the preseason game. But yeah, obviously, applause to Hunter Henry. You did everything you need to be. Hopefully you're another captain again this year, and yeah, have another really good year. Before we get into the training camp, the preseason game, the Patriots did also ship out a player, one Caden Wallace. They sent him. It was weird. It was one of those things where the beginning of the day, it was the Patriots are going to be releasing Caden Wallace. And then maybe midday, it was no, the Dolphins, because the Dolphins said, you know what, guys, I bet we could use Caden Wallace. Just like we thought we could use Cole Strange. Let's bring Caden Wallace on in here. And they decided to give the Patriots a 6th-round pick next year. The Patriots shipped out Caden Wallace and a 7th-round pick for the following year. And that is, I obviously want to get your guys' thoughts on just kind of him shipping out, if you really even have any. But out of that 2024 draft class, of which Caden Wallace was a 3rd-round pick, and these were high picks too. Caden Wallace is a top 100 pick. He was the 68th pick. There are 2 players left on that team. One from that draft who are on the team right now. One, obviously, we know Drake May, pick number 3, one of the greatest picks in Patriots history. And then there's also Marcellus Dial, who's still hanging around and still kind of competing for a depth spot, or maybe he might, get released on the practice squad. But yeah, I'm going to run through it quick. Jalen Polk, Caden Wallace, Layden Robinson, Javon Baker, Marcellus Dial, as I said, Joe Milton, and Jaheim Bell. So let me toss it to you guys. How do you care that Caden Wallace got shipped out? And then just your overall thoughts on that 2024 draft.
No, but you're glad that they got a pick out of it. And the fact that you read that, like, I want to gouge my eyes out after hearing that draft. That is as terrible of a draft as you could have. And everyone's like, oh yeah, you picked Drake May at 3. Yeah, no, duh, because that was the 3rd quarterback available. Let's be honest, if Jaden Daniels was there, if Caleb Williams was there, you would have taken a quarterback regardless, because you needed a quarterback. Like, it's great that Drake May has worked out.
Good point. You almost can't miss on that.
Exactly.
On the 3rd pick, yeah.
Right. And like, who's ever like heard of Marcellus Dial like doing anything lately? Like, it's just that draft class just makes me want to puke, and it just further solidifies too that the Gerard Mayo era, sorry, was just
error.
trash.
No, you were right. Error. The error.
Yeah, it was an error of an era. Like, it was trash. Straight up trash. Oh, God. It was worse than the 2019 draft. At least the 2019 draft, you had Damian Harris that gave you a little something. You had Jake Bailey that was a decent punter. Like, you got a couple pieces, but like, oh my God.
It is just crazy that basically the same brain trust, other than Gerard Mayo, then went on to have 2, from what we can see now, pretty good drafts in 2025 and then this year's draft. So like, it's kind of weird, but obviously we won't know till further down the line if these picks are good. But yeah, Liam, Caden Wallace, our guy, is gone. I think you and I were kind of high on him and Layden Robinson when they got drafted in 2024.
Well, he's a monster. Like, he's a freak of a man.
Yeah. So how do you feel? You got to be crushed. He's gone.
No, I mean, like, I think it's crazy that, like, rumors come out that they're going to release him, and then the Dolphins are like, instead of getting him for free, let's give up something. They're like, we have too much. They're, at the end of this draft, they're like, we have all these picks. We can lose one of them for this guy. And it's like, why? Just, you're the Miami Dolphins. Like, he's going to be a free agent. Just go to him and be like, hey, you want to live in Miami? He'd be like, yeah. Like, he's unemployed. Just hold on an hour. And they're like, no, we got this. What is it? 7th-round pick or 6th?
A 6th-round pick, which is big.
And then
because
Patriots sent a 7th, yeah.
Kayshawn Boutte is a 6th-round pick, and there's a whole thing. Do you keep him? Do you not? So it's not like it's necessarily nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I just think it's funny. But overall, yeah, that draft class, it sucked. But, that's how it goes. There's going to be plenty of hits, plenty of misses. We had plenty of big misses during our dynasty years, plenty of misses after the fact. And, in the next couple of years, I bet we're going to have a couple more. And you and me and Al will be sitting here going, damn, remember that draft class? Yeah, it's a lot like this one. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's funny you mentioned in the dynasty years there were a lot of drafts that were kind of subpar. You maybe had 1 or 2 guys on there. It kind of feels like that's what's going on now, because then it was, the drafts were kind of iffy, but you had the quarterback, you had some pillars in place, whether they were traded, drafted, signed, whatever. It kind of seems like we're in that now, where you have the Drake Mays, you have the Morgan Moses that can get you to the next draft. You have Mike Onwenu, you have linebackers, Spillane, Ellis. You have a good defensive backs room. So like we're kind of in like a new age of that era. Which again, it's really fun. It's really fun.
And like realistically, all you need to do is hit on like two picks out of each draft or every other draft, and you're relatively all set in the grand scheme of things. You're going to be building a future. No one has an expectation that every pick from each round that you draft is going to be on the team forever. Most of the time, sixth and seventh round picks don't even make it to the following season.
Mhm.
And if you look back at those old Patriots dynasty drafts, it'll be like, God, this draft class was horrible, but hey, we got Matthew Slater in the seventh round, and he ended up being here for 18 years. And you're like, oh wow, like, I for some whatever reason I was looking at Cordero Patterson the other day, and like he ended up being a monster. I think he was like a third round pick. He hung around the league. I think he played up until last year. And it's like
Mhm.
third round pick, like that's valuable. You're not going to hit on all third round picks. Russell Wilson, third round pick. No one expected their third round pick would win them the Super Bowl. All you're looking for is one or two hits. But I look back at those old Patriots draft class and I'm like, who is Greg Robinson Randall? I'm like, it doesn't really matter because we got Tom Brady 4 rounds later. But it's like
Exactly.
second round pick, they pick a tackle, Greg Robinson Randall. It's like it's all these irrelevant people that you've never heard of.
Right.
Yeah, it's nothing. So I mean, granted, yeah, they made their lives harder with this draft, but I mean, shit, guys, like the Patriots were in the Super Bowl last year. Like,
Yep.
I'm not gonna complain. Like obviously Vrabel came in, they figured it out. Him, Stretch, Elliott Wolf, they all got together. They said, listen, we gotta get this shit going. And honestly, it seems like they have a really good team coming into this year. Like I said, watching them play, watching them come out of the tunnel, get on the field, it's fun. So I'm ready to talk about the game, unless you guys had anything else you want to touch on that isn't kind of game related.
Nah, let's get into the game.
Oh, I'm ready.
Actual football.
Yeah, actual football that ended in a 13-13 tie. Just ugly. I admittedly so. I went to bed like maybe with 9 or 10 minutes left in the fourth. I was like, I'm done with this.
Squid.
I woke up and I was like, a tie? We ended in a
Yeah.
tie. That's how you know preseason football is around.
Yeah.
Just a horrible way to end it. But yeah, obviously Drake May didn't play, AJ Brown didn't play. But first, I just kind of want to. I gave you guys my thoughts, just seeing the Patriots play, seeing it go off. Then whoever wants to kick off with a thought, we can. But just it was exciting seeing everybody back, seeing Vrabel coaching like, it's a week 1 game, seeing a lot of the players playing like it is, seeing certain specific players who we'll talk about and whoever wants to throw whatever out there first. But then, like I said, seeing Drake May and AJ Brown and Hunter Henry standing next to each other on the sideline, I was like, oh my, that's like 20 touchdowns right there. Like in between
That
the two
is.
receivers. Like, I can't wait. But yeah, just kind of general thoughts and then kick into whatever you want. How'd you feel just watching Patriots football finally back in Foxborough, a relatively full stadium for a preseason game, I thought.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so I'll say this. It was fun to have something to look forward to. So like for me yesterday, like the Red Sox played in the afternoon, they won, had a little bit of a break, and then I was like, it was about 6 o'clock, had to run a couple errands. But the fun part for me was it was like, oh shoot, I got to get back by 7:30 to get in front of the TV for the Patriots game. Now, luckily, I was able to get all the errands done and I got to the TV in time. But also at the same time, once I saw it and once I saw the product, I was like, okay, yeah, it was cool for like half a quarter. Then I was like, oh, this is preseason football.
Mhm.
Like it's great to see football back on the TV and it's great to see the Patriots back on the TV. But after the first quarter, I was like, yeah, all right, I'll keep watching. And then the second half, I was like, yeah, I'm watching, but like, why am I really watching? Like,
Mhm.
I think the three of us can agree there's more usage out of the joint practices than the actual preseason games. And
Probably. Yeah.
that's what it comes down to. Like, yes, you're playing actual football in the preseason game. I get that. But it's the fact that you have Tommy DeVito. And Tommy DeVito, just credit to him, he played well last night. He really
He was
did.
awesome.
Yeah, had a nice touchdown pass to Kyle Williams in the left corner of the end zone at the end of the
We'll
first
talk about
half.
that. Yep.
Yep, it was great. But it's just like, you didn't get to see Drake May. You didn't get to see A.J. Brown, Romeo Dobbs, Ramondre Stevenson, Travion Henderson. You didn't get to see any of those guys. Now, granted, we're going to see them next week in the Eagles preseason game. But, yeah, again, it was fun to have something to look forward to in the fall again, even though it's still summer.
Mhm. Yeah. Summer for you because you have the next 2 months off.
I,
Easiest
I wish
job
I wish I
ever.
had the next 2 summers off. You come do my job for a day and then tell me if you feel that way.
I hate kids.
Uh, Liam, thoughts on the game, and then since you're the last one to go, start us off with a jumping point. I know you said last night you were texting us. You said you had thoughts wherever you want to go from
Dude.
there. But just first, how'd you feel to have the Patriots back, and then just kick us off wherever you want. Kick us off. See, look at that. I got puns.
I will. You do. So my kickoff point is inflammatory to say the least, and I think Mike's gonna hate this. So I'm quite excited. But overall, about the preseason, I love it. I would say I feel the opposite of Al. Like I look forward to the preseason every year because it's grimy. It's like it can be perfect weather outside and it's like it's a snowing, raining, muddy game because it's just dog shit football and I love it. And when you see somebody who, like Kyle Williams, who we'll talk about later, who got experience on a team that went to the Super Bowl, he plays in this game and he looks head and shoulders better than everyone else. You go, that guy's sick. But as a huge college nerd myself, I love watching the guys that I like had a cult following in college where I'm like, oh, like I want them to play well, or guys that I discover along the way. In the circumstance of last night, Lan Larison was like my dude last year in the preseason, and Afton Chisholm. So both of them, I'm like, I just want to see them ball. Jam Miller, I know Mike was excited, so I wanted to dig my heels in and get ready to say like, oh, this dude sucks. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, overall, like I just love it. Like it was fun. It was football. I don't have cable. I have streaming services, none of which are streaming a motherfucking preseason game. So I like looked at my fiance. I'm like, we have to find the bar, the nearest bar. The game starts in 14 minutes, and I was like, we have to go right fucking now. And we wind up in a karaoke bar. So I'm listening to some fat guy sing "Total Eclipse of the Heart" while the Patriots are on, and I'm just trying to watch the game. And
That's
my girl.
preseason, baby.
Yeah,
That's
and
what
my
that
girlfriend was
is.
like, he's actually pretty good. And I'm like, I can't believe he just missed that tackle on fourth down. I'm like, I can't fucking believe this. And we're back. And my girlfriend's like, so like, does this mean you're not going to talk to me? I was like, till February 15th. Yes, that means I'm not going to talk to you. So it's going to be, it's going to be a good couple of months. I'm super fired up.
Oh my god.
So where do you want to kick off? Because you did say that you wanted to start something that's going to piss me off. I think I might know where you're
Yeah.
headed, but where do you want to go?
I have a damning statement here, and I don't want to make any sweeping accusations or anything definitive, speak even in generalities off of one preseason game. But it was so glaring to me, I feel like I have to say it, so I'm going to be hyperbolic when I say it. And I think Gabe Akis sucks. I think he
I figured
sucks.
it was either that or Andy Borregales. I figured it was one of
Yeah,
those two.
no, I would never say anything bad about him. No, I think Gabe Akis blows. He has one pass rush move. He does it every single fucking time, and it's power. He just tries to power through, and he got stood up twice, didn't get close to the quarterback any of the times, shows no creativity, didn't do a swim move, didn't try and shake a guy. He did nothing but run straight through a backup tackle who just stood him up. And then when the Colts scored their only touchdown, I made a note of it. Uh, yeah, mid second quarter, it was a read option with Anthony Richardson, and which better defensive ends than him have made the wrong read, but he just completely caves on the read option. When you're a defensive end, you're supposed to seal the edge. Didn't come anywhere close. The backup linebacker, number 49, I'm not even sure who that is. Uh, I can't even find him on the depth chart right now, had to come back out and replace him on the edge. And then when he tried to chase after Anthony Richardson, he just looked like a doofus. There were many times where he just got lost in space. They had him drop back in coverage once on a screen pass, and he bumps into his own guy and he's looking around for the running back who's wide open. And luckily, Anthony Richardson sucks, so he didn't throw it to him. But I was like, I was sitting there in the bar going, holy shit, like I picked this guy to be my best defensive rookie. And I'm just watching him just suck wind. And I understand he's hurt, and I understand he just like got signed and just started practicing, and it really fucking looked like it. But I watched this and I was like, that wife beater from Boston College that we picked at the end of the draft did way fucking better than this idiot.
Hugh Hutchins, yeah. So I will allow me to go first here since it's kind of a personal attack on me.
No, go.
Gabe Akis, by the way, I'm happy. Liam, you said his last name right. Seems
Yeah.
like people,
Dacus.
is it Yakis? Is it Jackus? I don't know. It's fucking Akis. You know it is. Like, but
Yeah.
so he looks the part. He very much looks the part. He looks like a big guy. He looks like he's ready to be there.
Yeah, he looks like a
I will
monster.
say,
Looks
just
like
that
Tarzan, plays like Jane.
he started the game well and got worse and worse. So there were a couple plays where he did set the edge a couple times correctly. He said it well. There were some where he put some pressure onto Anthony Richardson, kind of pushed his guy back. But then, as you said, I think he does have more than just the power move. He has like the ghost move. He has exactly, which was the frustrating part because he has the ghost thing, which, you go up the field and you dip back. He has a swim move, but he is very strong. So he does also have the power there. But I think if you're a backup lineman, you're probably just sitting there waiting for the power move. So like that kind of didn't work in his favor. Yeah, like I wrote in the notes app, I wrote Akis and Jacobs, who that'll be probably something I'll bring up too. They look like rookies. The undrafted free agent, Khalil Jacobs. I mean, granted, he's an undrafted free agent. He did have like a handful of 30 visits, so he was on teams' radar. But yeah, Gabe Akis, I think the Vrabel's high on him. The team's high on him. I think if he can take to the coaching and kind of, I mean, granted, this was his first ever NFL experience, so not giving him a pass, but I do still have high hopes for him. It might take him longer since he did miss some of training camp. But I agree with you. I can't stand on my Gabe Akis hill and be like, how dare you, Liam? He was so good. He kind of started to deteriorate. But yeah, Al, did you see the same thing? Were you paying attention to Akis or were you looking at other things?
I was looking at Akis a little bit, and he did have the nice set on the edge where they threw the pick in the first quarter, the Colts, where Richardson threw the pick, and it was Kinder. I don't know. I forget the guy's name.
Bildor.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, yep.
So I mean, he set the edge well there, but listen, it's
started to go down.
Yeah, it's the first game of the preseason. Let's not write him off just yet, but I will say
I'm not.
A couple people had a bad comparison. I don't know if you guys saw this. Do you guys see the comparison? Mike, you probably saw this. Liam, did you see it? They were comparing Akis to a dare I say Keon White-esque type of player.
I hope not, dude.
All the physical tools are there.
Yep.
But he just can't quite put it together. Like start off strong and then he kind of like fade. So I don't know.
No, that's going to be what we're going to watch now. I know like a lot of people are going to be watching Gabe Akis, one because of the whole contract thing, but also he's a second round pick. He's being talked about like, he's this violent, great pass rusher at a position of need. So like it or not, with Harold Landry I think Harold Landry will end up playing this year, but I just think we might not see him a ton. But with like that edge room being so light, you expected Gabe Akis to really be a huge part. And yeah, like definitely kind of like a, welcome to the pros rookie type moment. A lot of people had that. And I brought up Khalil Jacobs on one of those runs. Liam, it might've been the touchdown you were talking about. I don't remember. I think it was in the second half. So I don't think it was that one, or maybe it was, I think it was when they got it to like the one or whatever it was. Khalil Jacobs, undrafted free agent linebacker, comes running across the field, gets bullied out of the way by like a third string offensive lineman. I'm talking like just stood up and pushed back. It would be like, it would be like me pushing Liam, not even a contest. Like I would just push him directly out of the way and Al would come flying through the gap. Like it was rough. Like my two guys that I wanted, I was like, let's see what they got. They really left me standing there with my dick in my hand. Like
it was tough showing for Mike's guys.
Yeah, it was rough. But I do think that we're all still hopefully holding out hope for Akis. I think he will play a ton in these next two games. I see him playing the first half in both of them, unless he makes these crazy leaps and bounds this week in the Eagles game. Then maybe you don't see him too much. But yeah, I definitely think he's going to play. One guy, I guess I did want to shout out since Liam, you brought up, and then Al, we'll go to you. Then we'll kind of go around and, obviously kind of round robin, whatever. Jam Miller, you brought him up, 7th round pick for the Patriots this year. Liam, you mentioned it. You don't really expect much from a 6th or 7th round pick. But Jam Miller looked good last night. I know that you brought up Land Larison, who was here last year. Land Larison looked good catching the ball. Running the ball, I think 7 carries for 1 yard. Not great. Not great. Jam
What's
Miller,
what's that?
14.
What's the average yards per carry there, Al?
Uh,
0.14 or something like that.
not the best.
Shit.
Not the
Okay.
best.
It's not good.
Jam Miller, though, 14 for 55. He, again, I will say this every time we talk about him. His draft profile, the first sentence is built like a fire hydrant. This is someone you want on this team. Like, he looked good. And I know you're going up against some second string guys, some guys that won't make the team for the Colts defense, whatever. But Jam Miller looked good, I thought. I do think the battle is going to come down to him and Lan Larison. Since we're on running backs, I'll give you guys a little bit more to talk about. The Patriots also signed Jermichael Hasty. Remember that name? He's been here
Yeah.
before.
When he was in
And
there, I was like, is this?
he was in here. And then Hassan Haskins, who Vrabel drafted in 2022 with the Titans.
Oh,
They signed him. He was in the game because Terrell
yeah.
Jennings and Montgomery, two other running backs the Patriots had, are out. I know that Jennings is out for the year. I don't remember if Montgomery's out for the year or not, but obviously they needed some more competition at that third running back spot, that RB3. So I think it's kind of technically it's a four-man race with Miller, Larison, and then the two guys they just signed. But I really think it's between Miller and Larison. But yeah, how did you guys think of that, of the running backs there last night? Because it wasn't Henderson and Stevenson obviously didn't play. So it was really just those two. You got a steady diet of Lan Larison and Jam Miller kind of back to back throughout basically the whole game. Did any of them flash to you? Do you kind of have one of them over another right now? I'm obviously a big Jam Miller guy, but where are you guys at with that RB3 position?
I think if I had to choose one, I would probably go more the Jam Miller route because you think about it, Ramondre Stevenson's a pretty underrated pass catcher. So the fact that you have Ramondre already that can kind of do a little bit of everything, Travion Henderson, we know can catch the ball in the backfield, but he also is kind of like a lightning guy where if he gets a little bit of daylight, he's going. Like we saw
Mhm.
instances of it last year. So I think Jim Miller is kind of that nice complementary piece where he can kind of get you some yardage on the ground. I mean, he averaged 4 yards a carry last night, right around there.
Yep.
So I do like Jim Miller. Larison, I think is fine, but I just think for this team right now and the way it's set up, I think Jim Miller makes more sense long term.
Liam, you're a Larison guy. He did have, just to kind of help you out, he did have 6 catches for 38 yards, 8 targets too. So he definitely involved in the passing game, which I think he is better than Jam Miller in that aspect. So what do you think about it? And do you have any thoughts about if the other two guys are going to maybe eclipse Larison and Miller?
Um, well, I don't think anyone's going to eclipse Larison or Miller. So I'll get that out of the way now. I gotta say, I was a hater. I came out saying that I don't think Jam Miller's going to do anything. It might be some leftover residual hatred from the University of Alabama, which just never quite fades away. But he looked awesome. Like he looked really good. Like that stat line that he poured in there. Um, 14 for 55, like that's a NFL Sunday. That's a regular starting running back. Like, obviously it's like first half numbers, first
Mhm.
quarter numbers for really good players. But that's NFL type treatment, and he turned it into NFL player type production. I loved what I saw from him. I think he's awesome. Between the two of them, though, I'm far and away taking Lan. It just for the skill set that he would offer complementary and inversely to our starting two running backs, as well as like Jams. He had this counter. It was really fucking ugly. He had a counter play. His footwork was terrible, and he just looked so goofy until he got the ball and he explodes up there for, I think he ended up getting 6 yards on the play. But just setting up the counter, it looks stupid. And like, can you fix that? Yes, absolutely. But like Lan, when running pitches, if he's just running a basic inside route out of the shotgun, his footwork's perfect. It's all fundamentally there. His running stat line is terrible. If you remember, they threw a pitch out to the right side. He got tackled for like a 5 yard loss. The blocking just wasn't
Yeah.
there, which completely
Yeah.
That was
blew
like
up.
his second
And
run. It
he,
was like,
yeah, you're like, fuck.
yeah.
And then after that, it was just like 2 yard gain, 1 yard gain. He ends up getting back to one. So you're like, god damn it. But his skill catching the ball is arguably like the best on the team running back wise. Like Ramondre is really, really damn good. Travion Henderson can also catch the ball. I'd argue Ramondre is a little better, and I think Lan would also be better. Like he's just good. In college, he was a utility player. He was like that Eli Heidenreich guy that we liked who ended up going to the Steelers out of Navy. Like he's a half receiver, half running back. That's what Lan is. Like treat him as both. He's Le'Veon Bell, except not that good at all. But
I don't
but
think
treat him
anyone has
as
ever
such.
compared him to Le'Veon Bell. I don't even think his
Well,
family has done that
allow
before.
me to be the first, but
There we
like
go.
that's the type of player that you could use him as. But I gotta say I was absolutely wrong on Cam Miller. I did not expect them to give him the carries that he had. 14 carries out the gate was far and away more than everyone else, and pretty much more than everyone else combined too. So I
Yeah.
was pretty jazzed up. I'm happy for him.
Yeah, I think you're probably on the right track with. I think Lan Larison will probably be the third running back on the 53-man roster. I think Jam Miller might be like a practice squad guy. I don't think any team will pick him up, so I think he'll clear waivers. He'll fall
Well,
back on the
no, if he
squad.
has another performance like that, he'll jump Lan, and then it'll be Lan who will be on the practice squad. Like it's
Sure,
just going to be
sure.
production.
But see, and I think this is kind of, and we'll talk about it when we talk about wide receivers too. It's almost like a good problem to have, where you're like, you kind of
Yeah,
have, you have so many bodies at one position. And but the reason I think Larison might make it, assuming Jam Miller doesn't have like a great performance next week and then the week after, you said it, Liam, passing wise. I think for that third down back, you want someone that can do all of it, similar to our Lord and Savior, James White. James White could run the ball, he could block, and he could catch. That's why he was the perfect Kevin Falk going all the way back to
yeah.
2001, to the early dynasty years. You want someone that is in the game on third down, but the defense isn't immediately like, oh, 30's back there. That means it's going to be a run. If they're talking about Jam Miller, it's like, no, you got someone back there who, okay, it might be a run out of shotgun, but then also might be a little leak out into the flat because he can catch it too. So I think they'll probably go that route and then maybe stash Jam Miller. Then maybe next season have him really compete for more of a role. But yeah, either way though, I think it's a good position, and I think they probably signed Haskins and Hasty just for competition wise. I
Yeah.
know Haskins and Hasty, they both have some return experience as well. So maybe just something. I mean, you also
Both of them
need
have
practice
played
squad.
meaningful time in the league. Like Haskins
Yep.
played for the Chargers last year or 2 years ago.
Yep.
Anyway, he was in it pretty recently.
Yeah, I think he got drafted by the Titans and then went to the Chargers for 2 years. Or maybe it was Titans, Chargers. But either way, he did just come from the Chargers. So yeah, I mean, and he looked good too. Like, good
Yeah.
body control. So I mean, we're not going to get too inside football about a preseason game. But yeah, seems like it's going to be a fun little a low stress competition to watch, I think.
Yeah. Would have been
Uh,
nice if we could win the fucking games. But like, it's not, it doesn't mean anything, but
yeah.
it would be nice.
All right, Al, what's your what was your number one takeaway you want to talk about from the game?
I knew we were going to talk about this anyway, but still, I think it's the most glaring thing. Andy Borregales missing 3 field goals in a even in a preseason game. I understand it's preseason. I get it. He's going to be the kicker for this team. I get that too. You miss 1 field goal, okay, fine. It happens. Like it is what it is. You miss 2 field goals, okay, that's a bad game. I get it. And kickers have those type of games. You miss 3 in a game. I don't care who the team is. I don't care what the circumstances of the team is. Is it rebuilding? Is it a contender, etc.? It raises your eyebrows, and it's a little bit of a, I don't want to call it a red flag, but we'll call it a yellow flag. Like it just
Yeah.
it's alarming to put it that way. And there were some tough kicks. It was like 55 yards here, but like correct me if I'm wrong because I didn't get to see this part of it. The game-winning field goal, wasn't that like 49 yards out?
Uh,
Yeah,
Something like
I
that.
think
They
it was
were
like right
really
around
close.
50. Yeah.
Right. So and that's a kick that like last year in Buffalo, 52, 54-yard field goal, whatever it was, right through the uprights, easy.
Mhm.
This one, whether it was a bad snap, whatever, like it's just again, it raises the eyebrows and not in a good way.
So you
Literally
brought up
a
the
week
snap.
after we were singing his praises too. What a dickhead.
So that's the thing. You brought up the snap. There was a different long snapper in this game. So if you want me to find an excuse, because I was immediately looking for one, because you know that Borregales and Behringer, they're my guys. Bryce Behringer, by the way, great game. Great game. But yeah,
Worked a lot.
he probably goes into this game. He's like, oh yeah, it's Brucey's time now. Like we're gonna go
Brucey's time, baby.
But yeah, like definitely not excusing Borregales, but like yeah, sure, you didn't have the snapper, but like at the end of the day, you still got a kick, and a lot of the kicks weren't even close. I know some got tipped, or like one got tipped or whatever. That's just an operation issue. I don't know. We all like Jeremy Springer, the Patriots special teams coach. So hopefully they can figure it out. Vrabel was talking about it either yesterday or today, and he was kind of like, it's like a golf swing, you know, where sometimes you just pull it too much one day, you push it too much, you go into the lab and you kind of figure it out. And I know they asked him, they were like, what tape do you think he's watching? He was like, kickers do their own thing, man. I don't know. All I know is that like, hopefully he can get in there and do what he can. But yeah, Liam, this is what I thought you were going to bring up when you brought up Akis. But did you, obviously you noticed the missed kicks? Like, do you think they should bring in competition? Are you worried? Because like you said, he's had a great training camp. And he had a good year last year. So it's like, what's going on? But like, are you worried, or are you kind of a wait and see, or?
Wait and see. I don't love it, but I'd bring in the competition. Like, why not? I don't think you should seriously humor getting rid of them just yet, but bring in the competition. There's some dog shit kickers out there that aren't really going to threaten his job, but it'll at least chap his ass. Bring back John Parker Romo just so we can cut him by preseason number 3.
Exactly. Light a fire under his ass. Exactly. 100%.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's definitely going to be something to watch. We'll see during this week if the Patriots won, if they do bring in competition, or if he lets that game leak into his psyche, which I don't think he will, because he had kind of a rough start to the year last year, but then he had a pretty good, 3/4 of the year after that. But we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting just to watch. But I feel like the one thing we have to bring up, we talk about this room all the time. I know a lot of the starters weren't playing, but there were some people that were playing other than your top 2. Everybody else from this room was playing. And I think we have to focus in on one guy in particular. And Liam, you brought up this guy weeks ago because you said you think he's getting swole. He looks big. He looks like me at the gym. He looks like a big guy. Kyle Williams. You brought him up earlier this episode. We're talking about the wide receiver room, ladies and gentlemen. Kyle Williams, 2 catches for 37 yards. Should have had a deep touchdown, too, if Tommy Two Chains actually hit him when he was open. Like you said, Liam, Kyle Williams looked hands down better than everybody on the field, because I think he is that good. It's just like this is only his second year. It's the little things that he has to tweak a little bit there. But my takeaway from Kyle Williams, he is so good off the line. He dusts anyone. And this isn't just this game. This was last year too. But then it's like the intricacies of running the route and everything afterwards. But Kyle Williams, I don't think we've really talked about or asked like this specific question. Like, he's making the roster, right? And I would assume. And then, like, how'd you guys feel about him last night, though? Was this kind of like a vote in the right direction, wrong direction? What you guys think of Kyle Williams? And I guess the wide receiver room in general, we'll talk about as well.
I mean, right direction. I mean, he's beating guys off the line. He's getting easy touchdowns. That touchdown was easy for him. Like, had a clear step or two.
He's going to be a huge red zone threat that I hadn't even thought about. Because when you're that close, you don't need to run a big route, dude. Just beat him off the line.
That's it. Use your speed to your advantage. I thought one thing that was interesting, though, I don't know if you guys felt this way. Mac Hollins played in the game last night at age 32. Now, granted, I think that's because of his connection in practice with Tommy DeVito, and also, but also look at the wide receivers you have now. You have A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown's obviously not going to play in that game. Romeo Doubs is obviously not going to play in that game, and he's been a little banged up throughout camp, so that's fine. After that, and Kayshon Boutte too. Kayshon Boutte has earned the right to not be playing in these preseason games.
Boutte played and did not get one target, pal.
Really? See, I didn't even see him on the field. Like, that's like,
he played, I think, 2 drives or something like that. But either way, he played, and I'll double check how many drives. But yeah, because I was going to bring that up too. He did not get one target. I think we got to start talking about Boutte too. But yeah, keep going. Sorry.
No, that's fair. No, it's fine.
He was out there on the first drive.
Yeah, Liam, you didn't really see him either, right? You thought
Yeah,
kind of the same thing, right?
yeah,
So, but I mean, also too, you have to play some of these guys. You just have to. Like Efton Chisholm, he needs his reps at receiver. Kyle Williams needs the reps at receiver. Matt Collins is somebody that I wouldn't have expected to have played in that game, especially at the age of 32. And especially he's in the last year of his deal with the Patriots. So if he wants to get one more like short contract somewhere else, because I do think Matt Collins is gone after this year. Hot take. But
yeah.
that was interesting to me to see. And he had like one or two catches. He also had a couple, I think, bad drops for him. So
Mhm.
that was kind of surprising to see. I know we were talking about Kyle Williams, but the Matt Collins thing really stuck out to me because it was like this dude's like I think he's almost like a 10-year veteran or close to it. And he's
Yeah.
playing in the first week of the preseason. Again, interesting.
No, and I think you're right. And that was going to be a part of it because I think like the whole wide receiver room conversation goes with Williams and Booty and everything. I think, like you said, Al, someone needed to be out there. And I think Matt Collins probably wanted to be out there. Knowing him, knowing how he likes to play football. Like they all like to play football, but it's just like he seems like the guy who's like, yeah, I'll go out there, coach. Like I got to do it anyway. And then, like you said, it's the last year. Maybe he wants to just put some stuff on tape. But yeah, I don't think I think he's definitely making the team because Drake May loves throwing to him. Those deep dig routes over the middle, those were made for Matt Collins. But yeah,
That's what he caught
Liam,
yesterday.
he dropped one yesterday too, which was annoying. But yeah, kind of the Kyle Williams conversation because, like I said, I know that we've been kind of simmering on him for a little bit, waiting to talk about him. And then just any other kind of wide receiver room thoughts. What'd you think of last night and what it means moving forward?
I thought he looked great last night. Dude, just nasty work on that touchdown. Like the release was great, faking in, breaking out, breaking the tackle. Like, he was so good. That second catch he had too. Again, nasty work. He's just routing out these guys that are just not on his skill level. Did you guys think he noticeably looked bigger?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, he looks bigger
Yeah,
on
like
the
the
field
arms
and in the
were
thing.
beefier.
Yep.
Yeah.
You
So
also could notice it on one of the curl routes. He shrugged off a tackle. And I think when you get more upper body strength, I think that happens. So yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he looks
I mean,
big.
and he still looked fast as fuck. Like I liked it. When he caught the touchdown, I was like, good. Like that's deserved. He should be doing that.
Hey, did Pop Douglas play last night?
No.
I think we can put to bed the fact that the worry about Pop Douglas making this team or not. I
I
think
would
Pop
say
Douglas is
so.
100% making the team.
Yeah.
But that was just a quick thought, and like that has nothing to do with what you said, Liam. And I do want to. We're going to keep talking about it, but just I was thinking about it real quick because I was like, who else didn't play? And it was him. But yeah, Kyle Williams though I think he is just that second year guy that has to just put together everything. Vrabel said last week he said it in the time where between from last time we recorded to now that Kyle Williams is going to be a big part of what they do. And if you're not going to be an every down starter, maybe you don't practice with the ones. Maybe you do practice with the twos, and then as you get closer to the season, you start to actually practice with the real team there. But yeah, I think Kyle Williams brings something to the team that you don't have. You don't have that speed. You don't have that you have Chisholm and Pop who are quick, kind of like Edelman, like the quick in a phone booth. You got AJ Brown and Booty and Dobbs who are kind of similar with big body. They can jump ball, contest, digs over the middle, curl routes. You don't have anyone like Kyle Williams on this roster. So I think he's going to be making the team. I hope he does. If they were to give up on him, malpractice in my eyes. That
Yeah.
would be a wild mismanagement of talent to me. Because like you said, he looks like on that touchdown route, easy. Drake May hits that 10 out of 10 times. Like he's going to look right over there and go, yep, boom, there you go, touchdown, corner of the end zone. But yeah, I think Kyle Williams looked good. I think he'll make it. Did you guys, the fact that Booty did play for a drive, and didn't really get targeted anything. Like, where do you guys stand with Booty? Because since we last spoke, the last week of practice, once the pads came on, he kind of fell back. He fell behind your AJ Brown, your Romeo Dobbs, your Pop Douglases. He even fell a little bit behind your Chisholms here and there, your Mac Hollins. I I think we are heading for a divorce from him. We don't need to get into the will he go, won't he go, but just what did you guys take of him playing but barely playing? Like I don't know really what the process is with him, but yeah, what do you guys think? I guess of just Booty standing right now.
I'm wondering if it's a way for him to kind of market himself to other teams to be like, see, I'm willing to play in the first game of the preseason. It's not my fault I don't get the ball. I'm being covered well. That's why you should have me as a number two receiver. And by the way, the team you just played, the Indianapolis Colts, yeah, they need receiver help, especially with Alec Pierce's kind of status uncertain right now, Josh Downs, whatever. That's a team that you could easily call, be like, hey, you saw him in joint practices. Got an edge rusher or something, or like an interior line guy that we could use or something like that, and make a deal. But I think that's what it is. I think it's a marketing strategy. I really do for himself, but also to be like, hey, listen, I'm still also a valuable receiver to this team. So guess what? If you want me, you got to come get me. And like, this is what you'll get. So I don't know. I think it's all part of a game. I really do. Like it's kind of like cat and mouse at this point. Like gonna play a little bit, not gonna play. It's almost like Christian Gonzalez, but not as severe of a situation.
Yeah, and that's who we'll right after this we'll talk about Gonzalez because that's I think the next big thing really that we have to talk about. But yeah, Liam, do you have any like real take opinion anything on what's going on with
No,
Booty, or is it just kind of wait and see?
I can't figure it out as much as the next guy, but much like you said about Kyle Williams, if they get rid of Kayshon Boutte, I also think that's malpractice.
Could be. I mean, shit. I would if you want to keep him, sign him for a year and then go from there. Like if you want to trade him by the deadline, I don't think you don't need to do what the Celtics did with Jaylen Brown and trade him for nothing right now. Keep him. Why not? Because even though he requested a trade, he very clearly still, it's not impacting him on the field. The team isn't shunning him or whatever, even though I know we just talked about one drive, whatever, but I don't think that's punishment for anything. Like keep him on the team. Maybe, a few games into the season, someone needs a receiver. Maybe the Chiefs come calling and they're like, hey, we'll give you a 4th-round pick if you give us a 6th and Booty. Sure. See ya. Like, just kind of throwing it out there. No like specific thing, but yeah, I think you keep them and see what happens. Another just quick wide receiver thing. Do you guys see how big AJ Brown looked on the sideline?
Oh, he's huge.
Monster.
He is fucking he is a giant.
He's a
Like
tank.
he's
Big
big,
boy.
but you don't even realize, and I think I tweeted this, surprise, surprise. You don't realize how big tight ends are until you see them next to receivers. Because we think that AJ Brown, Romeo Dobbs, they're big guys, right? They stand next to Hunter Henry and they kind of look a little small. Like tight ends are big guys. Like you don't realize it. And like I know, like we know tight ends are big, but just kind of seeing it where you're like, yeah, AJ Brown, giant, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, dude, he stands next to Hunter Henry, Eli Raridan. Like these are little pipsqueaks compared to the tight ends. So I always thought that was funny. Eli Raridan, someone I did just said, we almost went the whole time without talking about him. Yeah, very high hopes for Eli Raridan. It hit him. DeVito hit him on a bootleg one time. It was called back for a penalty. But yeah, Eli Raridan was out at being the lead blocker for some Jam Miller run. I forget what it was, but yeah, did Jam Miller, number 82, did he flash on your screen at all yesterday? Because he did on mine. I think he's going to be an interesting piece.
I thought he was sick at blocking, which was the polar opposite of what I was saying last week, where I just don't think I think he's just like a tight end and in name only, not so much in blocking ability. Dude, he looked great. He had, I think I wrote it down. It was a minute 22 in the first quarter. He's in for pass protection on a block and go, and the nickel corner number 26 blitzes, and he just tosses this corner and then runs out to the flat route to get open. And yet they didn't even look his way. It ended up being Lynn Larison on an arrow route. But I was like, obviously you should be able to block a corner with ease. He blocked them with ease. It was like fucking sweet. And he had a really good one on a Jam Miller run as well. A couple minutes later, that Jam Miller ended up getting 6 yards on the run. It's like this guy is doing the job. I like it.
I think the potential is there. I think we just need to see more reps. That's it. Like some
Yeah,
nice moments, some bad moments, but I think, and maybe this is just my way of thinking with rookies, it's all going to balance itself out. Like water's going to find its level. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So that's kind of why I'm like, yeah, he had a nice little reception, got I think like a 15-yard gain or something like that. Yeah, he had a block or two, but he also had a couple drops that he should have had too. So it's like,
yeah.
Mhm.
like you gotta just tread lightly. But I do see the talent and the potential behind it. There's something there, which is a good sign.
And that's all these preseason games are. Like, I know people, you'll talk about either like this podcast, me, us, whoever, other people. It's like, oh, you're just being positive about these games because it's tough to take anything too negative from these games unless it's like nitpicks on specific plays. But overall, like if you just see the players going through the motion of what they're supposed to do, especially the rookies, like you said, Al, you have faith in the coaching staff that they're going to coach them up. So as far as I'm concerned, this was a good preseason game. You
Right.
saw a lot of people with some talent, some potential, some things to work on, whether it's people who have been here for a couple of years, Borregales, whether it's rookies, whether it's, people that have been in the league for a little bit. It's like, I think people watching preseason games, like being too, like coming out of it with like oh, what are you worried about? You can't really be worried right now. Now, after the Eagles game, maybe because you're 2 games in, there's 2 joint practices. It's going to be pretty like then things are starting to ramp up. Then if you want to kind of have like a yellow flag up out, like you said, but right now, like if you're wasting your time being overly critical or negative about this game, I would just recommend you wait until next week. Because like right now, it's a simplified playbook. You have these young guys who are working on specific things. Like Caleb Lomu didn't have a tremendous game, but you don't know what he's working on. Like you don't know what
Mm,
Scarnecchia or not Scarnecchia, what Doug Marone told him. Like hey,
yeah.
in this game, like work on getting your hands up. Like, like work on doing this, like work on punching first, work on this. Like you don't know. So I guess we'll kind of see. But yeah, overall, I thought it was good. I do want to talk about Christian Gonzalez before we get out of here. But do you guys have anything else on the preseason game that you wanted to bring up?
The Colts
Felt
are.
great that it was back.
I was just gonna say the Colts are awful. Like I feel bad for the Colts.
Always.
Like if Jonathan Taylor doesn't rush for 150 plus yards and 2 touchdowns every game, they could honestly go winless. Like they're pretty bad.
Dude,
They
they're
are
not good.
bad. And good luck to Anthony Richardson trying to find a new team after last night. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
You
he
know,
looked
I heard them.
brutal.
I heard them say he requested a trade. Like, okay, dude.
Yeah, where are you
Yeah,
going?
Like,
Yeah,
what
yeah,
the
yeah,
fuck?
yeah. You know where you're going? The CFL. That's where you're going.
yeah,
No, someone will sign him because people in this league, like that's why I think Tommy DeVito, the Patriots, I think down the line, maybe not this season, they'll get a 4th round pick for Tommy DeVito because teams give up crazy stuff for quarterbacks who like either show flashes or have talent. So I think someone will get Anthony Richardson, but dude, what happened, man? He just not that he was like a world beater to begin with, but yeah, he kind of went down the drain. Um, but yeah, Christian Gonzalez will end on like kind of a somber note. Didn't practice once joint practices start. I know the word in Foxborough was that he kind of went down a little hard the day before joint practices, so they kind of sat him out. He obviously wasn't going to play in this game, but he didn't play. He wasn't suited up. Neither was like Christian Barmore, Christian Ellis, Milton Williams. Like it's not like Gonzo was the glaring absence, but
yeah.
I wanted to ask you guys just the fact that he didn't practice once joint practices started, where things are a little bit more uncontrolled. Because if it's just you going against your team, they're not gonna like if you're going against AJ Brown, he's not gonna really try to hurt you. Not that like the Colts receivers would, but you know what I mean. You got people who are trying to make the roster. So do you guys make anything out of Gonzalez not practicing in joint practices, or do you think it's just kind of he's a little nicked up? the contract thing is a thing and we'll see what happens? Like, where are you guys with him?
I'm gonna let Liam go first because I got a lot to say about this specifically.
Um, I don't have a lot on this, to be quite frank. Like, I think we covered it pretty well last week, and in the grand scheme of things, like, I think it's a whole drama for nothing. Like, if I got nicked up in a practice before, I'd probably be like, holy shit, $200 million on the line. I'm going to take the week off. Like, you're most close and in touch with life in the face of death. Like, you slam on the brakes right before you crash into a car or something like that. You go, whew. And then all of a sudden the trees are a little brighter and the sun's shining a little more. Like, that's probably just what happened here. And now he's
There it
playing
is. There's the
cautious.
metaphor. There's the simile
Like,
I've been waiting
but
for.
like it's and he wasn't, like you said, he wasn't the only one who was excused from practice and whatnot. So I really don't think it's that big of a deal. He was probably just like, whoa, that almost sucked. Because if he tore his ACL tomorrow, we'd all be devastated as fans, and then he's making a third of the money that he's in line to make. So it blows because it's a business decision, and we as the fans lose out because of it. But in the grand scheme of things, hopefully a fucking deal gets done soon. Either him or Devin Witherspoon bites the bullet and somebody does this contract so we can get this whole hullabaloo over with.
Okay. So here's kind of my take on everything with Christian Gonzalez. I understand the situation where he's trying to get paid, he's trying to get a big contract, he deserves a big contract. But here's part of the problem. Part of the problem is that Christian Gonzalez, I think this is his fourth season coming up, if I'm not mistaken, right? So 23, 24, 25. This is going to be his fourth season. Going into his fourth season, he's only been fully healthy one season, and that was the Gerard Mayo year. 2023, missed 3/4 of the year with a shoulder injury. Last year, he missed the first 4 games with the hammy. Now it's supposedly the ankle. If I'm Christian Gonzalez, I'm doing everything I can to get back on the field because hot take, guys, and this is a very unpopular opinion. I think Christian Gonzalez is a little soft. I do. And I like Christian Gonzalez. I do. I like the player. He is a good football player. He is a smart football player. But I don't think it's very ironic that, he gets a little bit nicked up, and especially with the contract right now, and he's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to sit. Again, I get it. I do. But don't you think in the back of the Patriots' minds, especially Robert Kraft a little bit, he might be like, oh, we offered you the biggest contract in Patriots history. So now it's, you're not on the field. How can you justify us giving you more when you can't stay on the field? I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's the way to go about it, but that is a realistic way that the business can be gone about in this situation. So if I'm Christian Gonzalez, I'm getting that ankle ready. I'm getting on the field because if he goes on the field and he's ready week 1 against Seattle and he has a good month of September and the contract still isn't signed, then he can go back to Robert Kraft and say, hey, listen, I deserve to get this type of money. And by that point, Witherspoon for the Seahawks is probably signed by then, and I get that. But if I'm Gonzalez, I'm like, listen, I need to be out there because I need to prove why I deserve this big contract because there's going to be a lot of doubters. And the fact that now this injuries come up, the fact that granted he wasn't going to play in the Colts preseason opener, I get it. But if he doesn't play in that Eagles one, then it's like, oh boy, you're not helping your case anymore there, bud. So a lot of complexity there. I get it, but I don't think Gonzalez is helping himself. I think he needs to get back out on the field sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I think it's tough because this is probably why negotiations have gone on so long because it's just a circular, everyone's right, so you just keep circling back to the same points where it's like, oh, like I don't want to play because then I could get hurt and then you'll value me less. And they're like, yeah, but if you don't get on the field and play, we're going to think you're hurt all the time. And it's just everyone's landing in the same conclusion over and over, and they're both right. And like it's a he, I at least if I was him, he stands nothing to gain, in my opinion, from playing. Like he was just awesome in the Super Bowl, had the pick to send him to the Super Bowl. We know when he plays, he's sick. Does he get hurt a lot? Yeah. Did he miss almost all of his rookie season with injuries? Yes. He's also built like a twig. He's like 100 pounds soaking wet. He's a scrawny dude. So I'm not expecting him to be able to take a ton of hits. But if I was him and like, yeah, all the doubters are like, oh, like I think he's hurt. Like I don't know if he's cut out for this and whatnot. If I was him, I'd be like, yeah, drink my smegma because if I go out there and try and prove you fucking idiots wrong, then I'm gonna get hurt and lose out on a contract that you fucking idiots can only dream of. So
Yeah, I think it's just I don't know if it's like the car salesman in me that like this is just negotiations. I don't know. Like it is what it is. I get that for like some people it's a little stressful. Like you start to worry about it. If you're not an optimist, you lean a little bit more to, well, what if he goes? What if he holds out? Whatever. I I kind of lean more towards like wake me up when Devin Witherspoon gets signed, and then we'll start the clock. I don't know if you guys saw the report. I think it was who was it? Mike Reese, Tommy Curran, Phil Perry. One of them said that
I think it was Tommy Curran. If
Tommy
it's the
Curran
one I
said,
think
He
you're
sucks.
yeah,
upset.
where he's talking about basically Christian Gonzalez doesn't want his contract to become obsolete. So
Yeah.
as opposed to getting a certain percentage of the 2026 cap, maybe Gonzalez in his representation are trying to get a certain percentage of the 2027 cap, which will be a little bit more room. I think the cap is also going up too. That's also the thing, which it goes up like every few years. So the Patriots should just do what they got to do if it's whatever it is. But like, I think that might be an issue too. So it's kind of like, like, do you want a contract that's big now, but then it's gonna become it's gonna look a little different next year, or like I don't know. I just think this is just negotiations going back and forth, where it's like, yeah, sure, I want this number. Well, we'll give you this. Well, I want this. Well, I want this. But then you have the ultimate elephant in the room, where it's like, well, what if you guys give me 34 million per year with whatever amount guaranteed, but then I sign it and the next day Witherspoon gets 10 million more guaranteed. Like that's going to piss me off. I don't want to do that. And then you also kind of don't want to be the Patriots where, yeah, we'll give you $100 million guaranteed. And meanwhile, Witherspoon was only ever going to get like 93. And it's like, you don't want to like that. All it comes down to is negotiating. But also at the end of the day, I think that Kraft, and he's shown it the last couple of years, I think he will be willing to pay at the end of the day. This isn't the 20 years with Kraft and Belichick. This is 2 years into Kraft and Vrabel. And I think that Vrabel has a little bit more pull just with how the organization is with Kraft. So I think I'm hoping that at the end of the day, the deal will get done. I do not care what the number is. Like I've never cared about that because the cap continues to go up. You can restructure, you can do whatever you want, like realistically, because I know, like I say that people are like, so you'll give him 42 million a year. That's not realistic. Like any realistic number, I'm fine with. If it's 100 million guaranteed, if it's 105 million, I don't give a shit. I still think the deal is going to get done. I'm assuming we're all still on that same plane, right? Where even though like we might be a little worried, like Christian Gonzalez is going to be on the Patriots for the next 4 or 5 years, right?
yeah, I'm not worried at all.
Honestly, he has to be, because if you have Christian Gonzalez, Carlton Davis, Marcus Jones back there with Charles Woods, Vildor as well back there, like doing their things, like you have these people, like you have a good secondary, you have a deep secondary for those being your top 3 corners, with it being Gonzo, Davis, and Marcus Jones. That's a solid group. You have an all-pro back at safety with a promising second-year guy in Woodson. Like you have a good team going on. So yeah, I think it'll get done. I understand people being worried about it, but I just think this is negotiated. Like not like it's just, I can't tell you how many times where I've been trying to sell a car to someone and it was 9:30 at night and it just, you don't know what happens. It just turns into, okay, we'll do it. Because at the end of the day, everybody wants to be together. It's just, we're going to try to wait till, the clock's about to strike midnight. So and you got time for it. I will say, if he doesn't practice this week at all, then we can sound like a mini alarm, like a small one, like a minion alarm. We can sound if he doesn't practice at all in joint practice this week. But until then, it doesn't. There aren't issues yet, so just keep going. So, you guys have anything else to say?
Nada.
Probably perfect timing because my mic is all messed up now. So
Yeah, I was gonna say.
so
Yeah.
it got a little weird. So for Al, Liam, I'm Mike. This is Tuck Tool Takes episode 239. Yeah, I got power surges going into my laptop. I don't know what's going on. We'll see you next week. Probably gonna wait until after the second preseason game to record, but don't worry, you'll know when the episode's about to drop. So until then, we'll see you next week. Sweet feet.
Sweet feet.
Sweet feet.